She's a multitasker, by all means of the word. She's a woman who has many jobs or many talents, and she puts them all to good use. She's a wife, she's a lawyer, she's an author. And her bio is in your program. She utilizes all of her time, reaching out and helping others when possible. She believes in helping the community and helping those around her. And most importantly, now she is the Forest County Justice Court Judge. So it gives me great pleasure this evening to introduce our guest speaker, Judge Gay Polk Payton White. Give her a hand, Michelle.
Song first.
Song first. Should I forget it?
Amen.
Precious Lord,
Amen.
take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. Drum Major for Justice Award in this very room, and so here I am back tonight to give your keynote address, and I'm so grateful for y'all inviting me to come and speak with you tonight. From what I understand, the song that I just sang was Dr. Martin Luther King's favorite song. And, you know, my mother was pregnant with me when he passed away. And so he came to our church. He came to Mount Zion Church. I was a member of Mount Zion Church in Hattiesburg. And he came to that church during that year and gave a roaring speech, and someone sang that song for him. So I'm glad that I was able to sing that to give tribute to him tonight. So I'm sorry, y'all. I got a little choked up, kind of. Lord, use you. And I mean, that's one of the things that I do when I go around to different places. It's like you gotta use what God gave you. You gotta use everything that He gave you. He didn't give you your talents for you to sit on them. He didn't give you your hands. He gave you the things that He gave to you so that you can use them to honor Him. And I mean, you have to make sure that your works are pleasing to God and that you honor Him with your works. And while you're doing that, you know, because people read my resume and they hear me sing and they're like, girl, if I could sing like that, you wouldn't be able to fit my head through that door. And it's just like, it's not hard for me to stay humble. It's not hard for me to stay humble. And I'm going to give y'all my secret to staying humble. So if you ever feel like you want to be pumped up and arrogant about anything, I'm going to give you my secret to being humble. I can stay humble because I understand that the power vested in me by the state of Mississippi means nothing unless God vests me with the power to take my next breath. If you remember that, you will stay humble for the rest of your life because you will know that He is giving you the grace and mercy to move forward and do the things that you're doing. So just make sure that you don't ever let power go to your head.
All right.
So Monday is the day that we're going to celebrate Dr. King's birthday, and it's actually his birthday this time. And so that's a wonderful thing. And like Ms. Cooley said, in the state of Mississippi and Arkansas and some of the southern states, they also celebrate Robert E. Lee's birthday on the same day. Now, I just have to say that Robert E. Lee's birthday does not rise to the level of importance for me that Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday rises to. And I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't have anything, I'm not racist, it don't have anything to do with race, but those Confederate soldiers did not march and die in contemplation of this little black girl sitting in the seat of honor in a courtroom named after a Confederate soldier, Nathan Bedford Forrest. But, you know, contrary to that, Dr. King marched, worked, went to jail, died, did everything that he did in contemplation of me being an heir to and being a beneficiary of all of the things that he has come to give us in his lifetime and after his lifetime. Amen. So it's such a big responsibility, and that, I don't think that's one of the things that I don't think we understand is that we have such a huge responsibility. I have children calling my office for a biography on me because they want to be me for Black History Month. That was the first time that happened, that was the most humbling experience of my life. I mean, I had goosebumps. I mean, it was unbelievable to me that somebody wanted to be me for Black History Month, and that's when I realized that I have to be the change that I want to see. You have to be the change that you want to see, because not only do you see yourself in the mirror, but other people see you too. Children are watching us. They are learning from our example, and we're showing them what to do. And I'm going to get to y'all in just a few minutes. Don't worry about that. I got something for y'all. But, yeah, I mean, it's just like, how dare me get to a point in my life where I think that I don't have to return back and pour back into the community that helped me to become who I am. So any chance I get, I'm going to the schools, talking to the kids. I don't care if they're second graders, fifth graders, high school students, college students, grad students, law students, lawyers, judges. Whenever I get an opportunity to talk to people and pour into people, that's what I do. That's what God put me here for. He put me here so that children can see that even if I can't sing, even if I can't run fast with a football, even if I can't bounce a basketball right, I can still succeed in life. And so what we have to see is that Dr. King paved that road for us. And you think about it, you know, my husband did highway construction, and it's like you pave a road, but once that road is paved, we have to do something with that road once it's paved. Now, I'm walking on this road. I can't just leave this road and think that it's just going to take care of itself. So what our job is to do highway maintenance. We have to maintain these highways so that they will be suitable for for the children who are coming behind us. We have to keep the road so that they can walk on. I mean, you can't just stop with the James Meredith that paved the way for me to go to Ole Miss, and the Clyde Kennards who paved the way for me to go to USM. You can't stop there. You can't stop with the Constance Slaughter Harveys who paved the way for me to go to Ole Miss Law School. I gotta pave the way. She paved the way for me, but I gotta pave the way for the ones coming behind me. There was a young lady that came and she interned with me at the courthouse, and she's in law school now at Tulane. And we were talking, and I told her, I'm so proud of you. You made it through your first semester of law school. She said, yes, ma'am, Ms. Gay. She said, I want to be just like you. I said, no, baby, you're going to be better than me. I said, because you're going to stand on my shoulders. I'm going to tell you everything I know, and you're going to stand on my shoulders, and you're going to be better than me. And that's what we got to work for the kids coming behind us. We can't hate on these kids and say, you got to get it yourself. I got it myself. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had somebody, you had the prayers of grandmothers and aunts and uncles and people who were cleaning floors and toilets so that you could go to school and do things. And you didn't do it on your own. Nobody's done it on their own. So make sure that you take the time. Just take the time to give back and show these children that we're going to do the highway maintenance to get them where they need to go. So I'm working to be the change that I want to see. And I just want y'all to keep working to be the change that you want to see. Now, one of the things that happens to us, we think about politics and we think about the state of the world today. And, I'm just as aggravated with the president as anybody else. But we can't get bogged down in that. We can't get bogged down in that circumstances, because if we do that, then we'll miss the possibilities. Because we've seen what happens when we're apathetic and complacent and don't go and vote thinking that Hillary didn't need us. But we also saw in Alabama what happens when we mobilize voters and people go to the polls and they do what needs to be done. There's a black female mayor in Atlanta, in New Orleans, and there's a black male mayor. He's the youngest mayor they've ever had in Birmingham, Alabama. So it's just like it can happen, but we have to do our part. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But if we can't get bogged down in that, because we're believers. We're believers. And the Bible teaches us that we can grieve, but we can't grieve as those who have no hope. Okay? I mean, I know y'all know that my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and his righteousness. And if you really believe that, then you can't get bogged down with the woe is me. You got to keep it moving, and you got to keep doing what needs to be done. People meet me and they see me and they're like, oh, girl, you got it going on. You know how people used to say back in the day, if I had your hand, I'd turn mine in. You're there. So I've heard people say that to me, but they don't know. They see my glory, but they don't know my story. They don't know that, like 3 weeks before I graduated from law school, my father died. And my mother died 17 months later when I was 2 months pregnant with my son. So it's just like I went down through there. And then just when I thought I was over that, 13 years later, my son was diagnosed with a soft tissue sarcoma and had to go through 4 surgeries, 31 radiation treatments, 7 rounds of chemo. I mean, it's just like you just don't know what people are going through. And you can't want what people have unless you know what they went through to get it. We were posting pictures on Facebook when we went to see the Steelers, and everybody was like, oh, I can't believe you booed up with Mike Tomlin. And they were just, oh, I'm so jealous. That was the word. I'm so jealous. And I said, don't be jealous. I said, because I would rather watch Mike Tomlin on my TV at home than to watch my son endure what he had to endure for the Make-A-Wish Foundation to fly us over to Pittsburgh to see them play. So you can't want what people want unless you're willing to go through the steps that they went through to get what they got. So you can't, like I said, you can't get bogged down in the circumstances. And when people do that, that's because they need something to be happening for them to be happy. And if you need something to be happening to be happy, then that means that you don't have a joy that's rooted in Jesus. So I heard a minister say this at church one day. He said, the J in your joy should stand for Jesus. And the Y in joy should stand for you. And the O should be a mathematical 0, meaning that nothing shall separate you from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus. And if you walk in that, you will have so much peace. It's like you won't even know where it came from. Signature Magazine in Hattiesburg interviewed me, and they said, "What is your most valuable possession?" Gay, I said, "Peace." And there's nothing like it. And if you ain't got Jesus, you can't have it. It's like you gotta have Jesus, peace. It all goes together. You can't have one without the other. So, but back to the, like when my baby was going through his chemotherapy and radiation, we were kind of, upbeat. And people were shocked to see us because we were kind of upbeat, But I had to be the change that I wanted to see for my son. I had to be what he needed. And what he needed was to have hope. And he couldn't have hope if he was looking at despair in his mama's face. So I had to be what he needed me to be. So we went through that journey. And I had a trial over here in Jones County. And I was talking to a doctor who had testified in the trial after court one day. And he told me, he said, I said, my son spent a lot of time up in Blairy Batson. And he was like, yeah, what happened to him? And I told him about the story. And he told me, he was like, oh, wow. He had a soft tissue sarcoma. I said, yeah. I said, it was pretty bad. And he said, well, did he get to keep the limb? I said, what limb? He said, well, usually when a sarcoma attaches itself to something, the person doesn't get to keep the limb that it's attached to. So I was asking, did he get to keep the limb? And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I said, he kept his limb. I said, and then after he finished all of his chemo and his radiation and all of his surgeries, I said he built the strength back up in his leg and played left tackle for the Oak Grove Warriors. And it was just like people didn't understand why I was so excited at the football games. But the reason I was so excited is because my baby was squatting down on the line of scrimmage on the leg that he wasn't even supposed to have. And then as he played with the ball snapped, he pushed off on that left leg. So it's just like you don't know. It's just like this joy that I have, this peace that I have. It's like you don't know the cost of my praise. You don't know where it came from, but it comes from way deep down, honey. And I give it all to him. I give it all to him. I don't care who's watching. I don't care if like that. Don't take it away. Yes, it does. Yes,
That's all right, guys.
I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about children because we have to start there. That's what we have to start. We have to start with our children because our children, as cliche as it may sound, our children are our future. And they're going to give us what we need. I need somebody to be my nurse. I need somebody to be my police officer. I need somebody to do my hair. I need somebody to be productive members of society so that our society can continue as we know it. But we have to raise our children to understand that they got to work for what they want. It's just like I make more money than my parents did. And so I like for my son to have some of the benefits of having, a mama who's a judge, mama who's a lawyer. But, I taught Kobe as he was coming up that you got to work for what you want. And then when he got ready to go to Ole Miss, Kobe was getting ready to go to Ole Miss. I said, come to let mama talk to you for a minute, baby. He was like, yes, ma'am. I said, Kobe, when you get up to Ole Miss, let me tell you what you don't do. He said, what? I said, don't be hanging out with them airship babies up at Ole Miss. He said, Mama, what's an airship baby? I said, that's a child who's rich because his daddy was rich, because his daddy was rich, because his daddy was rich. I said, I don't want you hanging around with them because you are not an airship baby. The only thing my daddy left me was a loan, so I need you to leave me alone. And don't call me. I said, you don't know nothing about struggle. Until you say 200 pennies on pump number 4, you don't know nothing about struggle. Keep working out. But when it comes to our children, y'all, we have to show them discipline. We have to show them discipline because my son he's a big boy, and so, but, it's just like he knew that, mama didn't play. I did not play. I don't care how big he was. Because he understood at a young age that discipline is what's going to help you finish the course. Strength, he was real strong. So strength can push you forward. But discipline is going to allow you to stay the course and finish the race. And that's what you have to give our children. We have to give them discipline. We have to make them understand that life is not a video game. Life is not a video game. On the video game, you get a restart button. On life, In life, you don't get a restart button. You know, you do some of the stuff you do in Grand Theft Auto, that video game, and your life is over. Because you're going straight to the penitentiary. So it's just like you got to understand, and our children have to know that. I tell people when I go to the schools to talk to teenagers, like, if you want a Big Bird to come, you should ask Big Bird. I'm going to tell the kids about crime and punishment. That's what I want to tell them about, because they need to understand that if you break in somebody's house, that's 25 years in prison. You break in a car, that's 7. So they don't even know the difference in that, and they don't even know that, you know, residential burglary is a violent offense, and you have to do 85% of that sentence before you even eligible for parole. So that means you get a 25-year sentence, you're in jail for 22, 23 years before you even eligible for parole. So that's what people don't understand, and that's why I go to the schools. I talk to the kids, because I don't think it's fair for just because my son has a mom who's a lawyer and judge who knows what thus says the law. I don't think it's fair for him to know things that other kids don't. So I try my best to educate them. And we have to make children know that, you know, there is a thin line, babies, between enjoying your life and destroying your life. I mean, you can step across that line so quick you won't even know what hit you. I remember when Kobe was a senior. Well, no, this was his junior year. He was student body president his senior year, and he was junior class president his junior year. So he comes in the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen. I said, what's up? He was like, Mama, can I go with my friends? I said, where y'all going? He said, oh, we just going to go TP yards. I said, y'all going to do what? He said, we're just going to go TP yards. I said, Kobe, what's TP in yards? He said, you know, that's when we roll the yards with toilet paper. I said, oh no, son, you won't be doing that. I said, that is malicious mischief and trespassing. You will not be involved in that. And he was like, Mama, but I'm joint class president. My friends, they expect me to go. I said, well, you tell your friends to expect in one hand and go see the toilet man in the other hand and see which one fill up the quickest, because I'm finna sing you a song from Dreamgirls, and I'm telling you, you ain't going. And I want you to go. And you cannot be afraid to tell your children no, because the landlord gonna tell your child, no, I'm not gonna give you an extension on your lease. No, I'm not gonna let you pay your rent on the 15th. You pay your rent on the 1st, you get out of here. You know, the judge is gonna tell him no if he asks him, will you reduce my sentence? I remember having a conversation with my stepson. You know, I heard him talking to his daddy on the phone, and he was saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir, I understand. I love you too. Bye. And I just heard his side of the conversation. And I said, Travis, you know what that sounded like to me? He was like, ma'am. I said, well, my clients are standing in front of the circuit judge, and they're entering a guilty plea. And they're answering the judge's questions, and they're saying, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir, I understand. Yes, sir. I said, but at the end of the conversation, the judge does not say, I love you, son. He says, I hereby remand you to the custody of the sheriff for implementation of your sentence. So y'all have to learn how to take love with your discipline while you can still get love with your discipline, because the world is going to give you cold, hard consequences. And that's real. That is so real. So, okay, any ministers in the room? Any pastors in here? Okay, I won't be before you long. I'm about to close. I'm talking about 39 minutes. But y'all, basically what I'm trying to get us to understand is we have to be the change that we want to see. You know, it's like we can't glorify issues and let it be my way or the highway. You know, it's just like your method of working on this cause may be different from this person's method of working on this cause, but y'all got the same cause. You gotta find a way to find that color of unity and come together so that y'all can deal with this cause together, because if you don't, then the method, you know, the disparity in the method can cause a whole bunch of madness and get lost in the mess. Where's the cause now? The cause is lost. That's where lost causes comes from. You know, my mentor in the speaking profession, Dr. Samuel Jones, said this to me today, and I had to write it down, Samuel. I'm sorry. My memory is not as good as yours. Y'all older than you. He said, methods are many, principles are few. Methods often change, principles never do. So you got to make sure that you're caught up in those principles. And you don't get caught up in the method, because methods are gonna change. Because you have different ways of doing things. You know, back in the day, we had to go door to door. Now you can put something on Twitter, and it's all over the world in a matter of seconds. So methods are going to change no matter what you're doing, but you don't let the principle of what you're trying to do change. So the last thing I want to talk to y'all about, seriously about to close. Okay, Mr. Graham, I'm about to close. The last thing I want to talk to y'all about is voting. This is just really so important, because like I said earlier in the speech, you know, voting can make a difference in so many things that you do. And if you don't vote, you know, how you gonna want your black life to matter if your black vote don't matter? I mean, it goes hand in hand. Because if you think about it, let's think about it for a minute. Okay, we all mad. We looting and we stealing Peruvian silk and weave out the store because the police killed that black boy and they didn't indict him and he walked free. So, you know, okay, so we mad about that. But when it was time to go to the polls and elect the mayor, who hired that police chief, who hired that racist cop, you know, it's like his hiring, the police chief hiring had to be confirmed by the elected city council, okay? Yeah. And so, you know, we didn't bother to go vote in those elections, though. That wasn't important enough to us, okay? And so now we got this cop who's out there trigger happy and taking our children off the street the best way he knows how, okay? And so then the case goes up because they said that he may have used excessive force. So the case goes before the grand jury, okay? And then the elected district attorney determines what information is presented to that grand jury to determine whether or not he's gonna be indicted. But we didn't go vote when it was time to elect the district attorney. So how are we gonna be mad? You cannot be mad if you are not a part of the process that creates our government. Then you are being used as a pawn to perpetuate the problems that exist in our government. You can believe that if you want to. You can believe that the government is real. So y'all, I just want y'all to really, like, when you turn 18, I need you to go down to the courthouse and do what I did with my son on his 18th birthday. I took him to the courthouse and I registered him to vote. Because the grand jury, you know, that's made up of registered voters. That's where those people come from. That's right. You know, those are registered voters, and then you have the jury that people sit on to determine whether somebody is guilty or innocent. You know, go for jury duty. People need you. You have to understand that, but for the grace of God, that could be your child on trial for his life, or that could be your child who was the victim of the crime that person is on trial for. So go and be the change that you want to see. Amen. Thank you.
Now that deserves one more standing ovation and a round of applause. The judge has read the verdict.
Yes,
She has told us how to put the highway maintenance together. If we're gonna be way pavers, there's some maintenance that has to be done. When you build a house, you have a child, the work is not finished. There's some maintenance that has to be done in order to keep it in good operating order. I'm just proud to say that I know the judge.
Amen.
Again, I want to encourage you. She's one of our own. And when I say that she gives back to the community, I don't mean just Hattiesburg where she resides and where I reside, but this is a judge that you can call that will certainly point you in the right direction. If she's not the person to serve you, she'll certainly put you in contact with the people that you need to be in contact with.
So just let's remember those words that she has imparted into us this evening about how and what we need to do in order to be the change that we want to see. And one of the last things she says is that we need to be registered to vote and we need to participate in the process.
Yes.
We certainly need to participate in the process. Every opportunity that presents itself, whether it's federal, state, or local, we need to be found participating in the process. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge the committee members who have worked so diligently in helping to put this program